This is David Darg, Assistant Director of International Programs for OperationBlessing. I'm calling from the Yunnan province of southwest China, where they've just had a devastating 6.3 magnitude earthquake. This area is extremely remote, and in fact, it's a very long way. It's on the other side of the country from the big cities like Shanghai and Beijing. Nevertheless, there are thousands of people living out here, and 44,000 families have lost their homes to this earthquake, and a further 58,000 families will need to carry out major repairs before they can return home. 6.3 is just a mega earthquake, and coming into the disaster zone, I expected to see destruction, but not as much as what we ended up seeing. On some of the initial assessment walks we took through the city, it was just like a war zone. Buildings were lying in ruins, there was just rubble everywhere. Schools were just split in two, and mud brick homes, many of the rural villages, they used mud bricks to build their homes, and these mud brick homes had just simply crumbled. All that was left in most cases was just a wooden frame. And the people are going to have to go through a long period now, sitting out the continual aftershocks that are occurring while they wait to rebuild their homes. Operation Blessing has been running programs in China for several years now, but this is the first time that we've responded to a natural disaster. And we were invited to do that by the Chinese government. It was interesting for me to see the excellent job that the Chinese government does at responding to disasters in their own country. When I arrived on the scene, they had already given tents to every single family that had lost their home, and it really was very impressive at how mobilized they were. Operation Blessing's particular role that they asked us to do was assisting them with the distribution of gift-in-kind goods and essential non-food items. The seasons are just about to change, and it's going to start moving into winter. And many of the families lost all of their possessions buried under the rubble, and then the rains came and mud washed through all of their stuff, so they've lost pretty much everything they had. So one of the real essential things they needed was warm clothing to help them get through the winter, especially as they're outdoors rebuilding their homes. So when we teamed up with the Chinese government, we were able to receive a huge gift-in-kind donation from the Nike Corporation. And Nike gave us these really excellent warm jackets that we were able to distribute to the people. The people were so ecstatic when we were handing out these jackets, and it really was wonderful to see the smiles on their faces. And these weren't just cheap cast-offs. These are very high-quality jackets. It's the type of thing that I would have wanted to wear, walking down the street in the West. So they really are wonderful items we're handing out to the people. One of the other unfortunate byproducts of this earthquake is that the crop production has suffered because people are having to divert their energy to repairing their homes, and the fields aren't going tended, and there's not enough food to go around right now. So the children are really suffering. There's not a very high level of nutrition in their food. So one of the things that we're distributing was a high energy, high vitamin rich nutritional mix. And we handed out the mix to thousands of children within the school system in the region. And it was wonderful because the kids are going to now have food for a month. This mix is going to help them get through a month long waiting for the crops to get back into regular production. So it's really great. It's going to be a very good benefit to the kids. This was my first time to China, and coming in, I expected the people to be very warm, and I'd heard lots of great things, and truly they were just a wonderful people. And despite the extreme hardships they're going through, and not only that, it's an area of extreme poverty anyway. One woman, for example, whose house was absolutely destroyed, we came to her home and gave her a jacket, we gave her children some food, and she was so thankful that she went to her chicken hut and gave us some eggs just to say thank you. And it was a very touching experience for me that having lost everything, this woman was still willing to say thank you in return. Despite everything they're going through right now, their spirits were very high, and we were very well received. All in all, the relief effort went very well. And now that we've established this relationship with the Chinese government, I'm sure that they'll be inviting Operation Blessing back in the future to help them respond to natural disasters in China. This is David Darg in the Yunnan province of China for Operation Blessing.